witnesses for your testimony today, and thank you for your service to our country. I applaud everything that we're doing to put weapons in the hands of the Ukrainian people. Thank you for making that happen under President Biden's leadership. Obviously, they've shown incredible resilience and effectiveness with the weapons that we have given them to push back against the Russians, the Javelins and the Stingers in particular. But of course, we all want to do more. And Mr. Secretary, you and I had a conversation at the Pentagon not long ago about more lethal weapon systems, and you did respond saying that it doesn't do us any good to give them weapons that the Ukrainians aren't trained to use, which I agree with that. But now that we have the luxury of time, are we identifying those more lethal weapon systems that would help them to be even more effective at fighting against the Russians with a minimal amount of training that we could give some of the Ukrainians and get those more sophisticated weapon systems into their hands?
Yes, we are doing that, and I think if you look at the inventory of the latest round of assistance that we provided them, there are UAVs like the Switchblade UAV that we discussed earlier. That is, you know, a higher level of technology, but provides them additional capability to go after armor formations and that sort of thing. And we continue to work with our allies to see what they may have in their inventory to be able to kind of up the game there in terms of additional capability. So again, we continue to interact with them on a daily basis and endeavor to meet their needs as the situation evolves.
Thank you. Let me turn to cyber for a minute. Secretary, in last year's testimony, I asked you a question that I'd like to revisit. The Department of Defense recognizes 5 warfighter domains: air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace. In the case of 4 of these, the senior civilian responsible for this domain is a service secretary. However, in the cyber domain, the senior-most civilian official is 4 rungs below in that hierarchy. Obviously, this seems like an imbalance. Can you explain to us why this does or does not make sense?
Well, thank you, sir. While cyber is a warfighting domain, there is not a cyber force like there is with special operations forces, with Army forces, space forces. So there is not a secretary, service secretary, you know, designated. The head of the cyber command obviously reports to me, and he also is supervised by my undersecretary for policy, and so we have a number of checks and balances that provide civilian oversight. But because there is not a separate service, there's not a service secretary designated.
Well, I remain concerned about this structure, and I think that's something we're going to have to continue to look at, especially since cyber, the U.S. Cyber Command and Cyber Mission Force, which can be and is highly effective. I still think that we need to elevate the civilian oversight on this and involvement. Let me turn to something else. The so-called Valley of Death often makes it impossible for technology to transition from non-traditional organizations to programs of record to support the warfighter. What is the department doing to solve this problem, and how does this budget request reflect that effort?
Well, we've established an initiative. It's a reserve. It's called Raider that encourages joint experimentation and encourages entrepreneurs to come in and bring their capabilities forward, and hopefully using initiatives like that, we can help bridge this valley of death that you mentioned here. This is very important to us. We want to make sure that we're getting the best that's available out there in terms of technology and capability, and so we'll continue to focus on that particular issue. But I think it's really important to make sure that the small entrepreneurs have a chance to get their products in the inventory.
Couldn't agree more. We have incredible entrepreneurs out there that can help make the warfighter even more effective. We want to make sure they have that opportunity to do so. I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.